Okay, Silky, welcome to Brand Game Strong.
Thank you. I'm so excited to be here.
It's exciting to have you. We see you on social media, but I mean, when I was trying to look you up and like learn a bit more about you, I was like, okay, I know what content she creates, but like, I don't actually know much about her. So I'm quite excited. And I feel like everyone listening will probably be quite excited to get to know you today a bit better. So I want to start off just by saying welcome to London. This isn't like your residence, right?
It's not.
So what brings you to London?
So I'm based in Germany. I was born and bred in Germany. London, I have a special connection to London just because my parents got married here. They met here for the very first time. So we have some family friends here as well. So since I was born, I think even my first trip when I was like, I don't even know, 6 months, 7 months was like London. So we've always literally been coming to London. And then now I'm here most of the time because of work as well. So yeah, just get to spend some time with friends, do some more social media stuff.
What is it like being a bit of a, someone who's just everywhere, traveling around? Because you do travel a lot.
I do, but mostly for work again. So sometimes it's just the solo trips when it's for work, because I think a lot of people don't know that I don't do social media full time.
I didn't know that.
I have a full-time job, 9 to 5, normal. So I get to travel for that a lot, which is quite fun, and I enjoy it as well. And it's nice. Like I've always like wanted to do solo travel, but then when you travel for work, you don't really get to see a lot of the cities and stuff. So when I actually have proper vacations, that's when I actually get to like shut down, switch off, and like actually enjoy a vacation. But other than that, I really do enjoy traveling just in general.
I'm so different because I'm in consulting and we also travel a lot for work. And honestly, I do not enjoy it.
You don't?
No, I'm not about the suitcase life. I'm a hermit. I just want to sleep in my own bed.
Really? I do. I would say I have like a 3-week mark.
Okay.
Like I've been here for 3 weeks now.
Yeah.
And then it slowly kicks in when I'm like, okay, I wouldn't mind like my bed again. But then there's so many exciting things to do, like especially in London, where I'm like, okay, it's fine. Like I know I'll go back one day. So might as well just enjoy the time I'm here.
Yeah, I've been here 12 years and I feel like I've still not seen most of London. Like I've obviously done the touristy stuff, the basic places that you go to, but I feel like there's more that there is to be explored. But often what you find is also you tend to go to your comfort zone all the time. So no, it's exciting. And have you had much of a chance to like meet new people here and collaborate with them? I've seen you've done some dance stuff. Yeah, it's really cool. But have you had like the opportunity to kind of mingle?
Totally, yeah.
Here?
I feel like every time I come here, there are like 3 to 4 people that I meet that are new. For example, like we never met. This is the first time we're meeting. So it's always exciting. I feel like social media is a great platform. I always say social media is a curse and a blessing at the same time. But I think the blessing side is literally that you get to meet a lot of different people, that you get to network, especially in the same area that you are in as well. So it's always fun to just like connect to other people. You know, it's either other people reaching out to me, or if I see like interesting people that are close by, I'll just reach out to them and be like, hey, do you want to meet up? Do you want to like create something cool? So yeah. There's always like new people that I get to know, and then you always build your circle, and then next time I come, you might as well like meet again, or you meet new people. So
through them you then meet other people, right?
Yeah, even that.
Yeah. I want to kind of go back a while and kind of ask you a little bit about what it was like growing up in Germany, because you are Punjabi. And one thing I mentioned to you when I reached out to you was like, I'm Spanish Sindhi, so like also got that European background.
But were you born in Spain then?
Yeah, Barcelona.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Nice.
So now I'm inching towards a point in my life where I'll probably have lived in London longer.
Okay.
Not there yet, but it's kind of sad because like in my heart I am Spanish. But
how do you not miss the weather?
Bro, I try and go more often now.
Yeah.
I think I've just been really bad at like planning and, going frequently. But yes, I miss it massively. But then I think I've kind of come to terms with this limbo life where I'm like, actually, I like that I get to be here, based here, have my whole world that I've created here, but then be able to like escape from it.
That's the same with me.
Right?
Exact same with me, like with Germany and the UK.
Yeah.
I could totally relate.
How was it for you growing up in Germany? And where in Germany did you grow up?
So I grew up up north in Germany. And growing up as a Punjabi, the Punjabi community or the Desi community in general isn't big at all. Like when I grew up especially, you can't compare it to anything the way it is in UK or Canada or US.
Mm.
So apart from my family, which is just my parents and my sisters, I didn't know any other Punjabi person.
Wow.
So it was just us 5.
Okay.
So growing as Punjabi was from like my childhood was very normal to me because I thought that's normal. That's how it is.
Mm.
So obviously we would speak Punjabi at home, but as you said, like I had the same limbo effect kind of, which I still am kind of. As soon as I would step out of home, I'd just be, you know, with all the Germans around me and with the German culture. And as soon as I'd come home, I'd be like in my Punjabi surroundings. So I never really thought that it's different. Obviously, I'd see my German friends, but I never really thought like, oh, I am different, because I just thought it's normal. It's just when I grew up, and I think even social media played a big role in that as well. When you actually get to see other Desis out there, when you're like, oh wait, there's different lifestyles, and like especially the UK, for example, you know, whenever we would come to the UK, I'd see like so many other people my age that were Desis, or they'd go to school and they'd have like other Punjabi friends at school. I was like, I don't have that. So as I grew up, I kind of just understood that, okay, wait, the way I grew up isn't normal in the sense like there are people that grow up with like, you know, more Desis around them. But yeah, I didn't ever felt like I was an outsider or anything like that. It was the opposite actually, because I feel like I always had the advantage of seeing things in 2 different ways. So I had like the German way of thinking and the Punjabi side of thinking, or like the Desi side of thinking. So I always use that as an advantage to even like, you know, even for now, like when I do like creative stuff.
Did you feel like you almost context switched immediately when you came home? You were like suddenly Punjabi, and then when you left, you were like, okay, I'm German. And so one, did you context switch? And second, did you ever feel like there was friction between the 2 cultures?
Context switch, yes. I think that just happens automatically because we speak Punjabi a lot at home as well. So I think that just happened automatically. I think that's just like a very natural way. Like as soon as you come home, you just like speak in Punjabi to your parents, or like, you know, you see like the Desi TV shows. Like, so that's that was definitely the case. Yes. Friction. I wouldn't really say friction. I would say my parents really adapted to the German culture as well.
Okay.
I have older sisters. I'm the youngest. So I think by the time I was there, they were like fully like, you know, accepting the German culture, and they were like fully like that. So there never really was any sort of friction. I would say that we did grow up with Desi values though. So sometimes I would have those things where all my other friends, they were allowed to go to sleepovers, for example. And then,
my God.
you know, those kind of things, like little Desi things where I'd be like, okay, but I'm not allowed to go through the sleepover. Why not? Or you know, other girls, like, you know, they chill with boys and stuff. And my mom would be like, you know, stay at home. You don't need to be around boys that much. So just little things like that. But I wouldn't say that was like friction where it was like, oh, I'm really like forcing myself to not doing things. I was happy with that. I didn't feel like, oh, it's the worst thing that's happening to me. I never had that like, oh, everyone else is allowed to do this and this. Because I still think, besides all these little things, we still had a lot of freedom. And I was able to like, you know, mingle with like all the German friends. So yeah, I don't want to make it sound like, oh my God, I was like a Desi outsider. But yeah.
I get that. Like there's a nuance there, right? Because part of me also didn't really see it as much until I was out of it, until I was a grown up. And then I looked back and I was like, yeah, actually I had a pretty different experience. I think maybe I look at it with different lenses as I get older as well. Like I'm sure a few years ago I was pretty much like, yeah, I had a very difficult time, whatever. But like ultimately, I feel very grateful for it, because I feel like the person that I am today, the values that I have, etc., it's been shaped because of all of those experiences. And I think our parents did the best they could at the time.
No, yeah, I agree.
I wanted to ask you about TV because you mentioned Desi TV and you are a Bollywood junkie.
I am, yeah.
So am I. What were your favorite films growing up?
Oh, everything Salman Khan. Like
really?
I was or am still the biggest Salman Khan fan ever. I remember just like, oh, Jane Jana.
Yeah.
I think that's the first song that I ever heard. And I was like, oh my God. Like I fell in love.
He's topless.
Topless. And like, I don't know. I just like the 90s Salman Khan vibes. It's forever been like, he's been like my first crush. So yeah, anything that related. I know a lot of people are like Team Shahrukh. I might get some hate for that, but I'd always be Team Salman. I'm sorry for saying that out loud. But yeah, just anything Salman Khan. But then obviously, you know, the early 2000s as well. Ye Jawani Hai Diwani is also one of my favorites. Obviously, I wasn't like a child back then, but like still one of the really, really
Yeah.
good movies. So yeah, anything like funny, rom-com-y, Hera Fairy, Fir Hera Fairy, like all these comedy movies. I'm absolutely in love with those. So yeah. And then I think my dad plays a big role in that as well, because I just remember whenever we had lunchtime and we'd stay at home, he would just watch like Bollywood movies. So we just grew up with that because Hindi isn't our mother tongue, it's Punjabi. So all the Hindi that I speak is literally just by watching, or it comes from watching Bollywood movies.
I think that's the case for actually many of us. Like, so I was telling you before we started recording that, so I speak Hindi at home, and I do feel like my Hindi's actually become quite rusty compared to when I used to live at home. But yeah, massively learnt Hindi through Star Plus. And
oh my God, yes, the
Bollywood.
series as well. Just talking about the movies, of course. I was obsessed with so many series.
Yeah.
Like, obsessed.
It was always like, it would be on and then I'd kind of be like, what is this nonsense? And then I'd slowly sit down and be like, what is Prerna doing?
I know.
Like,
oh my
Tulsi
God.
doing?
Yes. Oh, totally relate. I would have this weird thing, like after school, I would have like a list of all the shows that I like need to catch up on.
That's intense.
That was intense. Like, I don't even remember the names of it, but I remember it was like 4 or 5 series, and I'd like catch up on every episode. I was like, oh.
And nothing actually happens.
And nothing really, like literally they like stretch one scene so long. Like you'll see one girl like fall down the stairs and it'll take like 5 episodes for her to like reach the ground. But it was very intense. And I feel like back then, now I look at it, I'm like, what? Like, that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
But back then, that was like my whole life. I was like so invested in all these series. Need to know what happens next.
Reincarnation, you know, when someone would die and then come back with a different face.
As a fly, I even saw. I don't even know what series it was, but she was reincarnated as a fly, and then she was like the main character as a fly. It was the animation. That's when I stopped. That's when I drew the line.
Yeah,
okay,
that's it.
Time to grow up.
Oh my God. Do you watch like do you watch non-Desi TV as well that inspires you?
I'll be very honest, I don't enjoy it as much as these Desi shows. So that's like where the Desi pun in me like takes over. I do like series here and there. However, to be honest, like the Indian series, I've kind of stepped back a bit more. I'm more into the Pakistani series now.
They are good.
They're so good. Thank you. Recently, even because of time and stuff, I didn't even get to watch like anything at all. But yeah, I think I prefer series like Hollywood or like English speaking non-Desi series more than the movies for some weird reason.
Yeah.
So I'd rather enjoy watching those series than actual movies.
Yeah. I think I've become a bit more open to watching everything now. But my comfort zone is Desi films. But comfort zone is like Ye Jawani Hai Diwani and Wake Up Sid.
Okay.
Like I'll literally
and Rocky Aur Rani now.
Oh my God.
Can we please just take a minute and talk about
Can we
how
take
amazing
20 minutes to talk about
Let's talk about this movie, because I'm still not over it. I am like so obsessed with this movie still. Like I watched it.
Glad you talked about it. You know, I went to the cinema 4 or 5 times.
Oh, you're lucky.
No. People think I'm crazy because I posted about it on.
Girl, I would have gone with you.
No, but I needed like a mix of people. I was like, I'll take this friend this time. I'll go alone this time. I need to like cry my heart out on certain scenes. So I need to go alone. Then I took like a bunch of other friends, and honestly, it became I should get a commission, bro, for how much I talked about Rocky Aur Rani.
I mean, yes. And yes, you're lucky because Germany, as I said, we don't have a big Desi community there.
Yeah.
So you'll have like the movies playing, like the Bollywood movies. Like when I grew up, there were no Bollywood movies in cinemas at all.
Yeah.
So I could never, I could never go to the cinema. Like my dad used to, we'd like rent DVDs and stuff.
Yeah.
So
or those pirated ones that
exactly
came from India.
So that's the only way how we could watch movies back then.
Yeah.
We sound so old. But yeah, it wasn't like, oh yeah, the new movie's there. Like let's just go to the cinema. It's just recently started. And then they play like them at random times, like super random times. So luckily, I was in London when Rocky Aur Rani, I think it was already there. Like it was already released like for a month. I think I was lucky to just like still get like some of the last screenings. And I took the most random time because I took the day off that day, I remember. And I was like, what do I do? I was like, let me just go to the cinema. So I booked like the most random time again at like 11 a.m. Yes. And the whole hall was empty.
Oh my God, I
was the only person.
I'm jealous of you. You got to see it alone.
I sang alone. I cried alone. I laughed alone. It was the best experience ever. And I would do it over and over again. Like if I could, I would do it again. But it was the best experience ever. I came back watching that movie. I was like, oh my God, it's the best movie ever. And I feel like it was one of the good movies after a really long time.
I agree, man.
It was such like a really, really, really good movie.
Yeah. I mean, I will put it out there. Like for a while, I was a bit like, you know, during COVID when there was all this like random stuff happening with Bollywood, and it was very like, oh, like, I don't know.
Put me off as well. Yeah.
I think it put us all off. And to an extent, I'm almost like, how have I just bounced back to being like a Keijo fan again, you know, after everything I know?
I know.
But like, the child in me was just like jumping for joy that there was like another version of K3G, but modern.
I totally agree with you.
And it was just like filled my soul. That's why I watched it so much, because I was just like, I actually don't care if I look stupid right now. I'm just going to like live my best life, tell everyone about how good it is, so they don't miss out. And Ye Jawani was like that. I think I went accidentally probably 3 times to watch that. And I'm not the type of
How do
person
you mean
who's got a million times.
How do you go to like how do you watch it accidentally for 3 times?
I think no, it was okay. It was with different people, and I think one time was in India. So I think I went with 2 different people in like London, and then but again, it was like the music. I think for me, the songs of that film are just nostalgia.
Yeah,
and you can put it on and just like have it on at any part of the film, and like just switch off, and you know exactly what's happening.
Exactly. Yeah.
So you can like you don't have to concentrate, which I love.
I'm so glad we agree on the same.
No, Rocky Aur Rani.
No, it is. I feel like after Ye Jawani, Rocky Aur Rani is probably I'd say like one of my favorite movies. Like yeah.
Oh, I'm glad. Also, now it makes me a bit sad because I don't know if there's going to be anything as good that comes out.
That's what I was thinking. I was like, so when's the next movie going to come? But then I also feel like it's really hard to like that movie was really good already, so it's really hard to like beat that. But yeah, well, let's see.
I also think like Keijo probably took on a lot of feedback from everything he'd been like consuming, and he's like super big on reading comments on social media. Like you can see it, in Coffee with Karan, he's always talking about like trolls and how he gets like all these comments, and everyone like thinks he's not woke enough or whatever. And I think he's taken all of that and just shoved it into
one movie. You could tell because there were so many different topics which were important, of course, especially in India as well. I feel just to touch on those topics, but I was like, oh, that's like good. But it was like they all put it into one movie. But
with beautiful saris and great music and Ranveer Singh
and Rocky, yes, please, just gold.
Can we all get a Rocky?
Yes, please, thank you. Basically, yes.
We could literally talk for ages about this. But speaking of Bollywood, and obviously you kind of making Bollywood your personality, I want to ask you a very rogue question. Do you live your life like it's a Bollywood movie?
You know what? I wish.
Oh man, same.
But I think because we're so influenced by Bollywood, I'm just a person, I get excited about little things. So I just kind of make the most of everything. Yeah. So I feel like in that sense, yes. But I'm pretty sure that, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but have you never like listened to songs when you're like on the train or in the tube? And then you just imagine your own scenes and stuff? I mean, I'm not exposing myself because I know a lot of people do that as well.
Yeah. In the back of a car.
Yeah. So you just look outside, it's raining, and then you just listen to a specific song, or you just go out for a walk and you listen to a song, and you just kind of like envision like how you'd be dancing to this and how your scene would look. So in that sense,
tell us.
It's just different songs, literally. It just depends on the mood as well. Like Heartthrob from Rocky Aur Rani, for example. This is like, whenever I listen to the song, it's just
Are You My Soul Sister?
It's a mood lifter.
Bro, that song, nobody liked it. And I was the only one who was, no, to be fair, the first time I watched it, I was like, what is this? And then the second time I watched it, I was like, this is a vibe.
No, how can you not love that movie? I love that song. But yeah, whenever I listen to that, for example, I just like, oh my God, yes. Like, imagine myself dancing with Rocky and stuff. But in that sense, kind of live a Bollywood life. In my imagination, I do live a Bollywood life. But the reality, obviously, does look a bit different. But yeah, as I said, I just try to make like the best out of it all. And I feel like life kind of is, it's going to get a bit deep, but I feel like, isn't life like a movie? Like you are the main character and you just decide what you want to do. So you kind of like write your own script.
I think I'm coming to terms with that now. Like for a very long time, and maybe I don't think this is just me either, but like many of us, especially with the background that we have, we've grown up as people pleasers, right? It's like what is ingrained in you. And then on the other side, you see these main characters on screen.
Yeah.
So I think there is a bit of a dichotomy, or almost like a sense of like, that's something I I wish I could have, but I can't attain.
Mm-hmm.
And I actually love that all of us are changing that narrative for ourselves, because like you, in a sense, like I actually do have moments where I'm just like, I'm in a movie and I'm the main character. And I'm not even like a main character person generally, but like I am very much like, I'm and I mean, it's a huge reason why I am a dancer as well, because I've grown up like, you know, almost revering like dance on screen and being like, I want to be that. I want to be in a movie. So I'm going to, you know, do Bollywood dance and pretend for a bit.
Yeah. As you said, I relate to that because I wouldn't say I'm a main character person, but I think like it's your life. And I think I've just recently started with that mindset as well. And I think beginning of this year, I was like especially focusing myself on, you know what, this is your life and just like enjoy it. Like just do whatever you feel like you like to do. Just do whatever you want to do. Which is one thing, it's like so easy to say. And I think it's something a lot of people say all the time. But when it actually comes to doing it, you just don't think about it that much. So that's one of the goals for this year as well. It's just like literally just don't think too much, because I'm an overthinker as well. And I'm like, you know what? Don't think about things too much. Just do it. Like if you think it's fun, do it. And I think that's just how you become the main character in your own life automatically. If that makes sense. So yeah.
I think being an overthinker has served us to an extent, but I would say that it is time to let go.
Yes.
It takes a lot of energy. It's not helping anybody.
No.
And it probably ends up making you a more bitter person overall, which none of us really want to be. So, I think that's really cool. So what kind of main character things do you want to do this year, if you want to share with us?
Ooh, I mean, it sounds quite boring, but I think like traveling a bit more.
Yeah.
Because I feel like last year was a year where I did travel a lot. So everything that I did last year was actually supposed to happen 2020, 2021, but then COVID hit.
Yeah.
So I wasn't really able to like travel that much and like experience a lot of the world. So I did most of that last year, or started doing that last year. And I really enjoyed it. I think last year was one of the years where I did start feeling the main character energy and just being like, oh my God, I can like just like experience more things. And just, I feel like I've always been in this little bubble in Germany. And I've always been like, I'm going to live in Germany forever and ever and ever. Like if you had asked me 2 years ago, I would have never said that I could imagine moving out. If you ask me now, this just this 1 year that happened last year, because I did travel, it just was so eye-opening to me. I was like, there's so much to see. So yeah, I think this year I just want to travel a bit more, focus a bit more on socials, which I've been doing for the past year, 10 years.
I was going to say, how much more are you going to focus on social?
But I feel like the what do you call it? And you know, sometimes I like think of the German word and then I can't think of the English word, and then I think of the Punjabi word and I can't think of the German word. Just the combination of traveling and social media, I think that's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Because I feel like whenever I'm traveling, I get like these cool ideas that I think they're cool. And I just get to be a bit more creative. Whereas when I'm just in Germany, I am, as I said, like in this bubble, and I kind of tend to repeat myself with the content I might have, which I still enjoy. But I just feel whenever I get to travel, I just, you know, have different things. Like I make those folders. I'm like excited to create new content. So yeah.
That's really cool. I think it's a nice segue into your process for creating. And actually, what really struck me is you saying that you're not a main character, because that doesn't necessarily come through in the fact that you are a content creator. And a lot of people don't know that you have a job outside that. So like a lot of people assume that's your day job. So firstly, is that weird? Like, because I am getting like kind of introverted energy from you, because I mean, I don't know, but I'm quite introverted, and it's always confusing to me because I'm like, how am I a podcast host, you know, being somebody who's always been shy as a kid, like hiding behind my mom, literally, when there was like visitors and stuff coming. I wouldn't talk to anybody. I'd get told off as well. I'd be like, you know, you should talk to them, you know, smile and be friendly.
Same.
But how have you ended up here?
You know, that's a good question. And yes, you do get introverted energy from me, because I still feel like I am that introverted child that I grew up as, because I was very shy as well. I was very loud and jumpy and filmy whenever I was just like with my parents and my sisters at home. But as soon as we would have guests, I would be like, not talk to anyone, be very quiet. Even at school, I was like very nerdy. I was very into my books, like. But I would have like this extroverted energy as soon as I was like in my comfort zone at home.
Yeah.
with my Bollywood. So I feel like the Bollywood thing kind of just really always pushed out the extrovert in me because I've always loved dancing around, singing around. But yeah, the introvert in me, I think it's slowly been shifting because I've been putting this extroverted version of me on social media, if that makes any sense at all.
It does.
That's why I kind of feel like I have Silky and Sedoso. So Silky is the introvert, Sedoso is like the extrovert. Because I've been portraying out Sedoso out there so much, I think a lot of people think like, oh, this is her 24/7.
Yeah.
Which I am around the people that I'm very close to. But I think if I'd be like, you know, in a room full of people that I've never talked to, I wouldn't say I'm like as of an introvert that I was. I think it has changed. I think because of social media as well. But I still wouldn't be like the most open person. I wouldn't be like, oh my God, hi. Like I'd still be a bit more shy and a bit more quieter. But I would definitely say that social media, also with the job that I do, I end up like meeting strangers, you know, having to interview them as well, talk to them. So I think that helped as well, just, you know, to like build up conversations. You're kind of just forced to actually talk to people. So that has helped in a way. And then it just went hand in hand with whatever I do on social media as well.
It is very interesting because I can relate, I can see it.
Yeah.
But from an outside perspective, like you come across as this obviously like very charismatic, very confident person who seems like you were literally born doing what you're doing, you know? And I guess like moving into the actual process part, I do want to say, I mean, I've known of your work for years now, and one of my absolute favorite things is your Lisa D'Souza
Oh my God.
impression.
I love her.
The Vaatavaran of this bar.
Vibes.
Honestly, when I saw that, I was like, how is this person doing this so perfectly? Like, do you do a million takes before, you know, you get that perfect one? Do you not get sick of it if you're not getting it?
Oh no, I don't get sick of it. Like anything Bollywood, I never get sick of. It's just so much fun for me. First things first, I never do anything that I don't think is fun. So even if it's just trending, I wouldn't do a trend just because it's trending. I would only do it if I actually like it. So everything that I post out there is content that I actually find funny. So I'm like, I think that's funny, so I'm gonna post it. But yeah, even like the lip dubs and everything I do are mostly of dialogues or scenes that I personally really, really like. So Lisa D'Souza, for example, she's a character that I adore. And it's funny that you mentioned that because I just recently filmed it again.
Oh, what?
But that's the thing. I was talking to another friend the other day and she mentioned another video.
Yeah.
And because she was like, this is the video that I saw first of yours. Like, this is one of the first videos I've seen. And I was like, that's funny you said that because I recently filmed it again. So I kind of have these specific scenes that I just like to repeatedly just like do again because they're so much fun. But of course, sometimes they do take a couple of takes. But as I said, mostly it's like scenes or movies that I've seen like a million times.
Yeah.
So I kind of know what they're saying anyway. But it's always just so much fun when I actually, you know, get to do it. And it's always nice to see when people actually like it as well. Because then you're like, oh my God, like people relate to this as well, or people like this character as well as much as I do. So it's always fun to just like go through the comments and see that people actually like it too. And they think whatever I think is funny too.
Yeah. No, I think that Lisa Hayden peaked in that movie, honestly. She's so brilliant.
Iconic. It's
I watched
iconic.
it recently, actually, Adil Hai Mushkil. Yeah, because I don't remember it. I think there's some films that, because they've come out more recently and they've not been my comfort zone films.
Yeah.
I don't know them that well.
Yeah.
And this was one of them, and I rewatched it and I was just like, I think there's parts of it that I really enjoy and parts of it that I find a bit annoying.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, she's iconic. And I feel like you embodied it really well. So yeah, there's certain characters that like just work. I also feel like, I mean, from a viewer's perspective, I think what we enjoy the most is how perfectly you lip sync. Like, that's what it is. It's like, yes, it's relatable because we've seen the film, but it's like, how is she doing it? And then it kind of hooks us in more because it's such a mystery.
Yeah.
Like, does she, I'm always kind of just like, is she reading the lines somewhere in the background?
Oh, no. I never read. I think that would just put me off.
It would.
I just really
read it actively.
No, I just enjoy just like learning the lines and then just saying them out loud.
Yeah. So, because that time was like around COVID. I wanted to ask you whether that is the time that you started becoming more known on social media. Because I'm not sure when it happened,
Mhm.
but when it did, and if it was around then, like how did it feel if we were in lockdown at the time?
Yes. So I started my social media journey in 2014.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be 10 years in May this year,
Wow.
which is insane. And when I started off, I just literally did it for fun. Like the term influencer, which I don't even like that term, wasn't even a thing. Like I just started off as fun, just posting stuff for fun. And I started with lip sync as well. After a while,
Dub Smash?
Dub Smash, yes.
Okay.
I initially just wanted to post fashion stuff because I studied fashion journalism,
Okay.
and I was like, I just want this account to be like fashion related and everything. But then I came across Dub Smash, and they had the Bollywood category, and I was like, that's when I went crazy, and I was like, okay, let me just post like 5 videos a day. But yeah, I just posted those for fun, and then Musically came around, if you remember.
I remember, yeah.
Which then became TikTok in 2017 or 18, I think. But yeah, that was a bit more like Musically is basically just like TikTok. You could just be a bit more creative. Whereas Dub Smash was like they had ready-made dubs that you could just lip sync on, and then Musically had like a different format as well. So you had like more space to just do more stuff and be more creative.
Yeah.
And then I made one video, and that was end of 2019, I think, December or November 2019. So
Okay.
just before COVID hit, actually.
Yeah.
And it was like 5 types of Desi girls on the dance floor. It was like
Okay.
a super random video because I knew like there was like different format of like 9 to 16 or 16 to 9. I always forget.
Yeah.
And you can just like be more free and just do more creative stuff. So I was like, let me just try this types of kind of format.
Yeah.
And I posted that, woke up the next day, and I was like, where are all these people coming from? Like, because like my following, the reach that I had was very like constant. It wasn't like, it never had like a big peak or anything. So it was just like, I was growing slowly but steadily. But that morning I woke up and it like literally blew up, that video. And I was like, what happened? And then I saw that a meme page had reposted and like a meme page never had reposted any of my videos before. So they reposted it and they had quite a big reach. And I think that's when like that video just went a bit more popular, or my account got a bit more popular.
Yeah.
So that was just before COVID hit. And then, yeah, I just kept doing whatever I did because I was like, okay, I'm just going to keep doing, I'm just going to ignore that. And I'm just going to keep doing what I always do.
Yeah.
And then it just kind of started, I guess. That
Wow.
they got more popular. And then I had my first interview in January 2022, which was my first live radio interview. And that's when it hit me. I was like, okay, hold on. So people are actually seeing my content now. So yeah. And then COVID obviously was also the time when a lot of people came across TikTok or made TikTok accounts. I remember when I did TikTok, a lot of people would laugh at me and they were like, that's only what 12-year-olds do. That's what 13-year-olds do. Yeah. And then COVID hit and everyone was like on TikTok. And I was like, see, I told you it's fun. But that was also the year, or 2020 was also the year where I got to know more Desi creators, like online, where I got to network, because before that I just did my own thing. Didn't know anyone even in Germany, as I said, like I didn't have any Desi friends. So I just post my stuff, and I never really got the opportunity to network or like connect to other creators. And then I feel like 2020 was the year, because a lot of people all over the world started being on TikTok. I got to see more content that was similar to mine as well. And I got to like connect to other people. So I think that's where it started as well. Like just, people that I'm still in touch with, people I'm still friends with. I can call them my friends now, which is so nice. So yeah, I think 2020 was actually the year where it all like kind of, with the ball. How do you say it in English?
The ball dropped?
Yeah.
I remember.
Like, how do you say it in English? So many things I can say in German right now, but how do you say it in English?
I remember because in Clubhouse, I think you used to collaborate with other
Oh my
creators.
God, Clubhouse.
I think I joined like maybe something where you were like doing something with like Sirat and Zoe and
yes.
Sanjana. So I actually interviewed Zoe a few years ago on the
She's
podcast.
lovely.
She's
lovely. So cute.
She is. And it's actually so crazy that you can like connect with people from all over the world through your craft.
Yeah.
And it might not even be the exact same thing that you're doing that everyone else is doing, but like you're just sort of in this bubble.
Yeah.
And what's nice is it doesn't feel like you're alone. You obviously create your content and everything. You run your page on your own, right? Does that ever get lonely for you? No.
It doesn't get lonely. I wouldn't say it gets lonely because I think I see my profile as like a portfolio. I don't really see it as something, oh, I'm putting this out and this and this and this person's going to see it. I just put it out there. I'm just like, oh, this is like something that I actually really like.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to do it for myself, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But I wanted to touch on another topic that you just mentioned. For Zoe, for example, she doesn't do like dubs and lip syncs and stuff. But for me, what was exciting with her as well was just her being Desi, if that makes sense. Because I didn't grow up with any like Desi representation or any Desi people around me. So seeing all these Desi people, like her with her drawings and everything, it was like so nice. I was like, I've never seen anything like that before. So yeah, in that sense also, it was just great to get to know other people that are Desis, that are Punjabi maybe as well. And they do different things, but we all kind of connect on the same level that we are all Desi, we speak Punjabi. And then we kind of like the drawings that she'd make, they would just make so much sense to me because I know the culture. So I'm like, oh my God, like I want to be friends with her. That's so cool.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what I just wanted to add.
Have you gotten to meet these friends in person since?
Not in person, unfortunately. I think the only person that I've kind of been social media friends with from 2020 is Gurnaz. So she recently came to Germany last year in Feb. It's gonna be it's a year now. And I got to meet her in person for the first time, which was really nice because I think she's one of the first people that I've like come across as well. And she made similar TikToks as I did.
Yeah,
so we always like kind of like, you know, we like started commenting on each other's accounts and then we DM'd each other and stuff. So we've kind of always been in contact. And then we finally got to meet, which was so nice. Like we had such a great time together. So we spent the whole day together. So yeah, that's what I said. Like that's the blessing side of of social media, as I mentioned. Like I feel like those kind of moments are just really nice when you just get to, you know, get to meet actual people that also connect with you on this level.
Let's talk about the curse side of it.
Curse side of it. What do you think? What I'm going to say?
What do I think you're going to say? I don't know. I'm not in your shoes. But I know a lot of people talk about, you know, obviously like the comments you get, the self-doubt, the people messaging you about. Often I've heard from people who have social media platforms that are like substantial. They talk about feeling the need to talk about political issues when they don't necessarily know about it. And they get berated for it. I've also heard about people getting death threats over certain things. And, you know, like some people really bear the brunt of it.
Yeah.
So what's your experience been like just being out there, basically just as a free-for-all for people to judge you and have opinions about you?
Yeah. I think the moment that you decide to have an open profile, you just have to know that there might be people that not share the same opinion as you. And I'm okay with that. I think in the very first beginning, when I started off posting like those dubs, there were like 1 or 2 comments maybe. In general, I have to say I'm very lucky with like my community because they're very loving and very cute. But obviously there's like 1 or 2 comments where people are like, oh, that's cringe or that's not funny. So in the very beginning, I was like, oh, like I used to get like very like insecure about it. I was like, oh my God, is that embarrassing that I posted that? Now I'm at a point like 10 years later, I'm just like, I don't care. Like, I think it's funny. So I'm just going to post it. But yeah, the curse side I feel is where I haven't really reached that point yet, but I've seen some people be there. It's just everything getting too much. Like, you know, if I wouldn't have stopped myself from reacting that way from those comments back then, you know, it can get worse or could have gotten worse. So I think it's really important to just switch off at certain times and just be like, this is just social media. This is just my online world. There is an offline world as well.
Yeah.
So I think that's something that I've learned over the years as well, just to like let social media be the way it is and also enjoy like the offline world. Because for me now, social media, like because I've been doing this for so long, it's kind of become a routine. It's like a daily chore, if that makes any sense. Like I know I have this and this to post, I'll post it and then I'll like close the app and then I'll just do my offline stuff.
Yeah.
But I think that's another reason why I've kept my private life or anything that I do offline, even with my job, for example. I don't really post a lot at online because I just like keep that very separated. And I think that's just helped me a lot with like not combining everything together. That there's this side. There's also the side where I think it's easy. if you do it full time, I think obviously you have to you have to keep an eye on like the numbers and everything. I think a curse in that sense, which I've also seen with some people, is that you're like really into like likes and followers and like, oh my god, this and this picture got so many likes. Why did this picture not get this many likes? Or why am I losing followers? Why is this not happening? This not happening? I think things like that can really like make you crazy. I think if you get into it too much. So in that sense, I think it's a curse. I think it's just really important to understand that social media is not everything. For some people, it's just everything. Because even with the work that I do as a journalist, I am around influencers a lot as well. You know, when I have to interview them and stuff, and I'm at events and stuff. And I just see that world where they'll just film themselves and smile to the camera, and as soon as they put the phone down, like, yeah, exactly. Yeah. And I just look at that, I'm like, wow, that's crazy. So in that sense, I feel like there is this curse over social media as well, when you just kind of just live online and you forget about the offline world like completely. And I think that's a bit dangerous, kind of, I want to say. Because you just lose track of everything that's happening around you. You don't live in the moment. I think you just live for the pictures. You just live for the stories. You just live for everything you post. You just like, I think people just think that if you don't post this, then you haven't done it. Like you're not relevant anymore if you don't do it, you know? So I think there's like a really thin line where you have to like see where you want to put yourself in social media.
I see that, you know, it's not real, but I also see that people take this thing that's not real and, you know, create a narrative about you based on it.
Yeah.
So like, obviously I met you today and I've seen your videos and like, I don't have any like preconceived like opinions or anything. I just think you're really good lip sync. That's the only thing.
Thank you.
I came in with. So I was just like, oh, you know, I'm really curious to learn about her. But I think sometimes people do take it a step far and they're like, oh, this person just goes on holidays all the time. And it's like, but they're only posting their holidays.
Yeah, exactly.
And I also feel like it's quite scary going into this trap where you curate your life for social media. So it's like you think you're living,
but you're not,
for yourself, but you're not, because you're like, oh, let me do this cool thing because I'll post about it and it'll look cool. So I committed myself either this year or some point in the future, near future, to start going to travel more and not post about it, like not tell anyone I've done it. And because I think when we travel, that's a point where I think anybody likes to post on their stories about where they are and make people jealous. And it's all very, you know, like it's very overt, let's say. But I want to like rein that back in a bit because I'm like, I do want to live more for myself. And it's very hard when you're stuck in it because it's designed to suck you in, right? So either you're fully in like quicksand or you're completely not. And then I think when you're not, that's another thing, people like to gloat about not being on social media. Oh, I'm not on Instagram. Oh, you know, like they'll make you feel bad for being on Instagram as well. And so there's like all sides of it. But I think the danger is when people do judge you based on what they see, because there's like all these gaps that no one knows about in your life, right? That you've not shared to anybody. And yes, we talk about it, but the reality of it is that even me, I will fall into a trap of comparing myself to somebody because I've seen their stories and I'm like, oh my God, they travel all the time. Oh my God, my life sucks. And I'm like, no, but I know it's not true. God, yes. So that's why I think it's very interesting hearing about it from you, because you have a platform where you do get a lot more scrutiny. So do you actually get people then messaging you, and do you feel like you're able to actually get back to people? Like, are you able to actually be in contact with your community?
I try my best. I do try my best to have like an overlook of my comments and everything. DMs sometimes do get a bit stressful to like go through all of them. I do try my best though. But I think the comment section is mainly the area where I do interact with them most, and I get to interact with them most, or just like read comments. Sometimes I don't even get to like, sometimes I'll read it and then I'll reply to it in my mind, if that makes sense, or I just like it and then I'll be like, oh, I'll get back to that later.
Yeah.
And then I forget. But no, I tend to like read all the comments, and like, you know, if people have questions and stuff, like really like, you know, tell them whatever anything's from, or if I can, obviously. But yeah, I just love reading those comments, especially like when I see comments like, oh, I had such a bad day and then I saw your video and it made me laugh. I think those kind of comments are my favorite. It's just really nice. But then, as you said, you only post stuff like if say it's just a 15-second story out of 24 hours. So you'll only see those 15 seconds, you know? The other person obviously doesn't know how the entire day went for me or how it was. So as you said, like I think we only post stuff that we want to share, obviously. Even with the lipped up videos, the ones with the laptop, which are pretty long as well. I got a couple of comments where they're like, oh, you're so like villy, you know, that you do that. And I was like, bro, I did that after work. Like I wasn't villy. I just did that like in the, I don't know, in an hour after work that I had free. So that's what I meant. Like people think that I do this all day and I have nothing else to do. But yeah, you just put things out there that, you know, you want to put out there. Doesn't mean that that's what you do all day.
How do you come up with inspiration for your next piece of whatever you'll share?
It's very different with everything. Sometimes I'll just listen to a song and then I'll just hear a line and I'll be like, oh, I want to make something like specifically for this part of the song. Or I'll see an outfit and I'll be like, oh, this outfit would go with this and this song. I'll watch a movie and I'll be like, oh, I want to really lift up something on this. So it's very like an everyday life. It could be the most random thing ever. I remember I was on Broadway the other day and I saw the names of the shops. And I was like, this sounds like a name of a movie. This sounds like a song. So I just made a super random video of just like, you know, going through all the shops and just like naming them with Bollywood movies and stuff. So it just always depends on like wherever I am, what I'm listening to, what I'm hearing. So yeah.
That's super creative. I think that doesn't get enough credit because there is so much stuff and noise out there and people, obviously amazing stuff as well that people are creating. But I think like even, I think I see it on TikTok actually a lot.
Yeah.
I think the creativity on TikTok is
next level.
Insane. And like, yes, people are like, oh, TikTok is for, you know, Gen Z, not for us. Or
well.
No, but yeah, so I used to scroll on TikTok a lot, and then now I've reined it in because I feel like it's a vortex. Like I never get out once I've started.
Oh, you don't? No.
2 hours later, I'm like, what century am I?
But there's so much fun stuff. I even read like, I'm the sort of person, I read a meme the other day. It was like, oh, I read somewhere, I saw somewhere. It's always TikTok. The source is always TikTok now. If I say, oh, I read this somewhere or I heard about this the other day, it's most likely or 100% likely that it's going to be on TikTok, that I've seen it on TikTok.
Yeah. There's also a community for absolutely everything.
Yeah.
Book talk, clean talk is my favorite. I love cleaning talk.
Oh my God, I love those ASMR cleaning.
ASMR.
Or even packing ones. I don't know if you've seen, you know, when people pack like their suitcase and like everything's organized, it's just, I could watch that for hours. It's so crazy.
So I like that in long form. And this is when you know I'm a millennial because I'll go on YouTube and look for like a, I don't know, like living alone video. And it's just some random person just like vacuuming for an hour. And I'll just watch that and I'll be like, this is the best thing ever.
Oh my God, you know those smart videos, those smart home videos? I don't know if you've seen. Oh my God, that's so much fun to watch. Yeah. I'll watch those for hours.
How do they get all those gadgets?
I have no idea, but I'll just watch them like for hours. It's the best thing ever.
Those are really fun to watch. Or you know when they're stacking like all their food in the fridge like perfectly. And I'm like, I mean, it's like nice to look at, but then I'm like, is this aspirational?
Yeah. No. Or is this like realistic? Would I ever do this? No. But is it fun watching? Yes.
I always wonder like how long it's taken them to make it and like how silly they must look while like trying to set it all up. Do you feel like if you're ever filming anything in public, for example, do you feel like you look silly doing it?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Do people come and stare at you like, what's this random person doing?
Yes, all the time. So I have my tripod. So tripod and me, we're besties. So whenever well, actually, my parents are my besties, which makes it even sadder.
Oh my God.
No, but the thing is, I'd rather film something on a tripod on my own than actually ask someone else. Yeah, and then they'll actually be like, what the hell is she doing? Unless it's a friend or like someone I know. But yeah, absolutely. Whenever I do like dance videos or like lipped up stuff, like obviously people don't hear what I'm actually dancing on or what I'm saying. So yes, like people do stand something and they're like, what is she doing? Like, oh, and I'm just like, some people like it. Some people be like, oh, very nice. Some people will just give me weird looks. But yeah, I think the more you do it, the more comfortable you get. After a while, you're just like, oh, who cares? Like,
yeah, no one actually is bothered.
Yeah. In the beginning, I was very shy. Like, as I said, I grew up being very shy. So if you would have told, I don't know, the 6-year-old Silky, whatever I'm doing now, she wouldn't have believed it. She was like, there's no way you're doing all these things right now. Like, these are things you do in your living room, but not outside.
I know. I was going to say, you know, Tube Girl?
Yes.
the confidence levels.
That's, for example, I'm not there yet. So I
Because
don't
people are watching her. Like,
yes, like they're literally watching her in it because there's no way to escape. You can't escape.
But then she got invited to like London Fashion Week, and I think it was a slap in the face for everyone who judged her.
I know, exactly. It's like hats off to her. Just amazing whatever she did.
Another rogue question. Why Sedoso? Because Sedoso is Silky in Spanish.
Oh my God, yes, you would know.
Yeah.
You're the first person that knows that.
Really?
Yes. I've never come across a person that actually knew what Sedoso means, because that's the number one asked question for me is always, what does Sedoso mean? I've never come across anyone who was like, oh, this is a Spanish word. So you're the first person that knew.
And
obviously
it's
makes
also
sense.
The masculine version, so it's not Sedosa.
Yeah, thank you.
Oh my God, you've thought this through as well?
Yes. No, I haven't thought this through at all.
Okay.
I found out a couple of years later.
Fine.
But yeah, I was like, I think one day I was just Googling. I was like, what's my name in Spanish? And then I came across Sedoso, which I don't think I noticed at that time. That's the masculine version.
Yeah.
But I really liked how it sounded. I was like, oh, that's cool. So I'm just going to like, this is going to be my Instagram name now. And then a couple of years later, I don't know why, I just like came across it again, or I Googled or something. And then I was like, hold on, there's a feminine version which is called Sedosa. So it should have been Sedosa. But I'll be honest, I think Sedoso sounds nicer.
I think it sounds cooler.
And it sounds cooler. And I kind of like, people actually think that's my real name. So whenever I'm like walking around, people be like Sedoso, and I'll actually listen to it. So I feel like if someone would say Sedosa, I wouldn't find it that cool. So
yeah,
Sedoso,
I agree.
I like Sedoso.
In terms of just the chaos of life, like you said, you know, you're creating videos for the internet is at times a daily chore. You also have a full-time job, you're traveling, you're doing all these things, you have a social life. When do you get a break? Like, how do you take care of yourself? Do you take care of yourself?
Yes, I do. I think it's very important as well. As I said, it's a daily chore for me, like social media, as in I don't see it as something, oh, like I have to post this and this. Like for me, it's like I have this ready and I post it and I'm done. For me, it's also really important to just have like my phone away, just have like detox phases. So for example, when I work, I'm not on the phone all the time. Obviously, I'll like check my messages and DMs here and there. But I feel like when I work, I kind of just focus on work.
Yeah.
When I go out for a walk, I'll listen to my music and I'll have my walk. When I spend time with family, that's like recently I just noticed. I don't think I've ever noticed that before, but I spent a lot of time with my niece last month, I think. And I was hardly on my phone, which I really enjoyed, which was really nice because I just got to spend so much time with her and my family in general. And that got me thinking. I was like, have I always been doing this? I don't remember. But yeah, I would just like go on Instagram, post something, and then just put my phone back and then just spend time with family. So I think it is important to me to just like switch off. And that's where the curse comes in, where I just kind of like keep it separated. So I do make sure that I have like my breaks from social media as well. I have my breaks from work, I have breaks from family as well. I just have some me time as well. But yeah, I think my me time mainly, I think a lot of people do like, I don't know, go to meditation. I've recently started yoga, but then because I travel a lot, I don't get to do it like as regularly as I want. But I feel like me time for me mainly is just going out for walks and listening to music. So that's where I kind of just get my energy back. And I'm a person, I really like being alone as well, which sounds really weird.
No,
but I can be alone for a long time. I know my sister, for example, or a lot of friends, they have to be around people all the time. They get bored really quickly.
Yeah.
I'm someone, I don't mind. I actually don't mind if I like have to be at home alone 7 days a week. Like I wouldn't mind. I would just know how to entertain myself and just like listen to music or do my TikToks and stuff like that. Like I am so okay with my own company. Which I think, especially for someone who is out there on social media that much, is also fun, if you know what that means. Because sometimes social media gets a lot, and then I just get to do like my own thing, and I'm totally okay with just being alone.
It's good that you have that balance, I think, and also because you said you travel so much, and I find that to be kind of a lonely experience at times. But it was really cool as well that you were like, well, you know, you don't really feel lonely, even though you spend a lot of time alone, because I think that time allows for the creative juices to flow.
Yeah.
I know that I think my best when I go for my walks on my own as well. And I do a lot of like, being a city girl, I just go on walks in the city. Like I just walk around by myself.
I love that.
Have my headphones in.
Yes.
Yeah.
I love it.
Sometimes I just put white noise on. Like I don't even listen to anything sometimes. I'm just like, this is nice. Just like being able to clear my head completely. Weirdly though, I don't know if you felt this, but after COVID, to be fair, like I spent a lot of time alone in COVID and lockdowns, and I actually started feeling more lonely after COVID because I'd spent so much time in a pandemic by myself and being scared and like scared to go out to the shops in case I got COVID, and then, you know, no one would look after me. So I think after that, now I'm kind of like, you know, I come home from busy work and socializing, whatever, and I'm just like, oh, what do I do now? So I think that's happening more, which is weird because I was so empowered as a young, early 20s kind of person. I was like, I love this, but it's changing for me now, which is weird. But I don't know, have you seen a shift throughout the maybe last decade for yourself?
I haven't really seen a shift. I know that COVID, because we had to stay at home mostly all the time, I quite enjoyed it, to be honest. Because I don't know, I started like drawing and stuff, like finding out new hobbies that I could do at home. And then now that the life's gone like back to normal, nothing's really changed for me, to be honest. Like I get to see my friends. Like my friend circle is very small as well. So I have like my 4 or 5 friends that I get to see, or I'll like chat to them daily. But nothing's really changed in that sense, to be honest. Yeah, I don't feel like the only thing that has is the traveling bit. As I said, like that's the only bummer that I had. I was like, oh, this was the year I wanted to travel a bit more, which I didn't get to do. But apart from that, I don't think COVID has changed me much.
I think that's amazing, though, that you are like so empowered in your own company. I want to get back to that. I'm trying to work on it now and get more comfortable with it again. But I think in terms of, like, obviously you've said you want to travel more this year, etc. Where do you actually see yourself living in the future? Do you have an idea?
Ugh, I have no idea. I just want to go somewhere where the weather is better.
What would the dream be? Just throw it out there.
The dream, I honestly don't know. I feel like there's still so many places I want to see yet.
Yeah.
All I know is, as I said, is it needs to be somewhere where there's most sunshine. Because Germany's weather is pretty similar to the UK weather. It's always windy, always rainy. And I've just noticed that whenever I'm in the sun, I just feel better. I just feel so much better. But yeah, I don't know, Bali maybe, like somewhere. Just throwing this out there. I've never been. But I don't know, something like where the weather's just nicer, a bit more nature. Yeah.
Yeah. Just more sunshine. I think we're all very simple as human beings. Just feel happier with a bit of sun.
Yeah. That's all we need.
I feel that.
And a Rocky.
Yeah. That's so true. In the next, like, say, in the next decade, do you think Sedoso is still going to be around?
I hope so. I hope she'll still be around. I mean, it's been 10 years now, and I'm glad I didn't stop doing what I've been doing. I think if I was way too invested into social media, I think there must have been days or times where I would have been like, okay, I give up. I don't want to do this anymore. But because I've always seen Sedoso and everything that I do as like a hobby and as something that I really enjoy doing, I just kept going. And I think that's just the goal with the whole idea of Sedoso, just to keep going because it's fun. I think as soon as I force myself doing stuff because, as I said, like just because something's trending or just because this and this, everyone's doing this and that, as soon as I'd force myself, I think it would stop making fun and then I wouldn't do it anymore. So I hope Sedoso still will be there in a decade, and I hope I can still make people laugh and entertain them with whatever I do. Yeah.
You're like a ray of sunshine, you know. You're just like, I'm just here, like chilling. I like making people laugh. I love that, though. That protects you from like the curse side of what you do. I think it's awesome that you've come this far. I think you've done so well.
Thank
and
you.
I feel like we're a similar age. And I know how like turbulent it has been, like going through the 20s, going through like all these, I don't know, confusing things we see on social media and just everywhere around, like where you need to be by the time you're in your 30s. You know, you need to be successful. You need to be like making this much money. And I just feel like among all of that noise, like you're somebody who's finding a way to just kind of do your own thing and not listen to the noise too much. I'm sure there's ups and downs in that, but it's really cool to see. Oh my God, please keep lip syncing. I can't wait for the new version of Lisa D'Souza.
Oh my God, I think you'll love it. It's not dressed up as Lisa D'Souza, but it's just the same dialogue, but it has a little twist maybe.
Oh, Oh, okay. We'll keep an eye out for that.
Yes.
And also, please do all the other scenes that you've not covered. I don't know if there's many more actually that you haven't done.
I'm not even sure. I think I've done the Vaatavaran one. Then I've done the one where she has to leave, the breakup scene.
You're a weird woman. I love that.
You're a weird woman. Jesus be with you. And then I've done the hi guys, my name is Lisa D'Souza. What? No namaste for us? I think that's like those main three those scenes that she had. I think there's one where she cries as well.
Yeah.
I don't remember. But
you could film it in the hotel. Like it's in the Renaissance Hotel.
Wait,
here.
it's my god,
Pancras.
yes.
Yeah.
Oh my god, yes.
Go film it there.
Thank you so much for the idea. I go right
away. And is there any? Oh, we didn't even talk about the dancing actually, because you've been dancing more. But is there more like dance stuff that's coming up? I saw you choreoed something recently as well.
Yes. So dancing has kind of been something I've always enjoyed doing. So my dad's actually the one. He used to have like this huge tripod and camera, and he just set it up in the living room. And then all of us girls, we just like dance. I remember like my first dance performance was to Nimbura Nimbura. I would dress up in the blue lenga and everything. So that kind of like the interest in dancing has always been there.
Yeah.
I've never done it professionally though. So it's always just for fun. Even whatever I post now is just for fun. Like I've never taken any classes or anything. So I'm nowhere close to anyone that I do the choreos with, because it's usually the other person making the choreo, because I'm always like, just make something simple that I can do as well. But yes, I really want to explore more dance forms, genres. I usually feel more comfortable in Bollywood stuff and Bhangra, but I would love to like try out new stuff. But then I feel like Bollywood and Bhangra, mainly Bollywood, is something that I really, really, really enjoy, because as soon as I hear songs that I enjoy, I just like instantly get in a good mood and I really want to dance to it. Same with Bhangra actually. But yeah, I would love to just like try out more stuff and just do more dance videos.
And again, have fun with it, which I think is very cool. Because I find also with dancing, there's like a whole other 1 hour we could talk about it. But but I think there's an element of like perfectionism and like doing it for different reasons and stuff. And I think ultimately like not losing the fun element, that's the key, isn't it? And you look like you're having fun when you're doing it.
For me, it's just like if I enjoy the song, I'll just have fun immediately.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I hope to see more dance stuff and more just of the amazing other things as well, whether that's like fashion stuff that you still do here and there, or your Bollywood remakes. But also, I hope to see you in a Bollywood film one day. I don't know if that's ever like an aspiration, but that'll be cool.
That would be cool.
Yeah.
That would be cool. Yeah.
Yeah. Last question for you, Silky, is what do you have strong game in?
What do I have strong game in? If I say being filmy all the time. Is
valid.
Is that valid?
Valid AF.
No, honestly, like I could start like talking about movies and being filmy like anytime. Like even if you wake me up at 6 a.m. You know, okay, this is like different level now. But have you ever watched Big Boss?
Not like fully, but elements.
Okay,
yes.
but I've like stopped watching it like in the last couple of years. But they used to have that ritual where they would wake up whatever time they would wake up with like Bollywood songs. And they like instantly start dancing. So I always wanted that in my life. I was like, why can't I like wake up like that? So in that sense, filmy, because like you could literally wake me up at 6 a.m. like blast a Bollywood song and I would like start dancing. So I would say I have strong game in being filmy 24/7.
You've just reminded me of that song where he like, I don't know which actor it is, but he wakes up and he sings, "It's 6 a.m. I love you, mom."
Oh my god, yes, Fardeen Khan and Kushi. I've done a video on that as well.
What?
Yes, I have. I remember I forced my sister to film me. I was like the starting scene in the bed, and then I wake up 6 a.m. I love you, mom. I'll have some cornflakes. Mujhe milega dum. I love that. But yeah, that's literally.
But also Rocky had his intro scene, which I got cut out of the main, like if you noticed it in the cinema, they cut it out, but they put it in the Prime version. which is like his whole, like he wakes up and he's
Yeah,
topless and then he has a shower.
Shower and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like the poo equivalent of
Yes.
Rocky.
Oh my God. Yes.
Entry.
Yes.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
I feel like you should film one of those. It's so fun.
One of the poo videos.
But maybe the remake of the Ferdinand Khan song, because we love that.
I love that too. Oh yeah, maybe I should really do that. I think that was back in 2015 or so.
Wow.
I remember I filmed that one. I tried to do like a cool transition and everything. Didn't. But yeah.
She's come a long way.
She has.
Well, it was awesome to have you on here, Silky, and I feel like we could chat for longer. But I hope that like people listening to this got to know you a bit more. Because I was very conscious. I was like, I want to ask her things that like will open up, but you know, the right amount of like sharing as well. So yeah, I hope that you had a good time as well.
I did. It was so much fun. Yeah. Thank you so much for
And
inviting
hopefully we get to see more of you in London and also just around the world, frolicking and gallivanting as you do.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Hi, me again. Just wanted to say thank you so much for listening to this episode of Brown Game Strong. I hope you enjoyed it and got something useful out of it. If you'd like to stick around, then please hit subscribe if you're listening on YouTube. And if you're on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, you can click follow to get updated on all of the latest episodes. It helps me immensely in continuing to bring you more exciting guests and interesting stories so that we can continue to learn about all the awesome work that's happening in our community. Thank you for your support. It never goes unnoticed, and I look forward to seeing you in the next episode.